Hello, fellow wargamers and history buffs. I know a lot of you play your games solo or solitaire. I thought I would pick up a game that is specifically designed for solitaire play. This is Waterloo Solitaire from Worthington Games. It was published back in 2021, and it allows you to play either the French or the Allies at the Battle of Waterloo. So let's take a look and see how it is. Now, the game itself is in a booklet. So there's a table of contents here, which has the rules and examples of play. It has different types of French players versus Allied bots, some that are easier and then some that are much more difficult. And then it has Allied player can then be up against French bots, and then we have progressively more challenging French bots. So if we take a look here at the game itself, the rules are about, I want to say about 4 or 5 pages long. They've got some examples of play, and basically how this works is that you are going to be playing either the Allies or the French, and you're going to be rolling a die, so you're going to need a marker and a 6-sided die in order to play. And then there are different scenarios that they have here, and how it generally works is you're going to have some different options. If you are in this case playing the French, you've got your different choices here, and you can pick one of these each turn, but you can't pick the same one twice in a row. And then up here, you're going to be rolling to see what the Allied response is, and then depending on what happens with that, you're going to then have your combat resolution, and you'll either start chipping away at your opponent or you'll take losses. The victory conditions, if you're playing the French against the Allied bot, you're trying to eliminate either the right wing, left wing, and the reserve, or some combination of these. 2 of these 3 need to be eliminated in order for you to have victory. If you are playing the Allied team against the French bot, your goal is to eliminate the second corps and the first corps. And if you do that, then you will be victorious, or you just are able to last until the end of the turns, the end of the game, and not have the French win. So the Allies are going to win if they can outlast the French before the French can achieve victory. Or the Allies will have complete victory if they can eliminate these 2. Now, I've seen some play tests and stuff online with other YouTube creators where they're playing the French, and I thought, well, just to change things up, I will play the Allies. So here we're up against the easiest bot, since it's my first time playing through. And what the Allies need to do is then select one of these options here. And if you take a look, this is the number of times that these choices can be activated per turn. So I think we'll maybe get started. It's turn number 1. We will try doing some artillery fire. So you can either use a marker. I've got a clear piece of plastic over this, or you've got 4 copies of the same scenario. You could use a pen, something like that, to mark it. So we are going to take the option for firing our artillery. And what we'll do next is then we need to take a look and see what the French response is. So at this point, we'd look here at this, and we're going to roll a die to see what the French respond. And the French roll a 4. So that is Imperial Guard. So if Hougoumont is not Allied controlled, they will attack with a -1 on their die roll. Otherwise, use tactical events. So Hougoumont is Allied controlled, so the Imperial Guard is not going to be attacking. So now we go and we look at our tactical events here on the side. We're going to roll the die again to see what we get. And we roll a 3, and that is combined arms. So this says here, remove one allied unit of your choice from the right or left wing. And the note here says Napoleon used combinations to increase powers of attack. Artillery attacks could be followed by infantry and cavalry attacks to overwhelm the points in the opponent's line. So we have to lose something from either the left or the right wing. So I think what we'll do is our left wing's a little bit stronger. So we're just going to go ahead and mark off a loss here for that. And then what we can do is we can go ahead and roll the die and see what our result is for artillery fire. So 1 through a 3 is a hit, and we'll go ahead and we'll target the second corps, and we'll see if we can get a 1, 2, or 3 is a hit. And we roll a 5, so that's nothing. So that was the conclusion of turn number 1, and we can then mark that off. All right, now we get to move on to turn number 2, and we have to figure out what it is that we're going to do. So we had done a artillery attack. We can't do that again. So this time what we'll do is turn number 2, we put a little 2 here. We are going to try to bring in the Prussians. And so once again, we go and we consult and see what the French bot is. So we're going to go ahead and roll and see what happens. And we roll a 4 again. So it's the same thing. We have to go over here to the tactical events table. And this tends to be a pretty troublesome table. So let's see what we roll. And here we roll a 3. Once again, combined arms. So we have to lose another unit from the army. Ugh. So let's go ahead. We'll take another one off the left wing here. And now we're going to go ahead and roll to see if we get any Prussian reinforcements. So on a 1 or a 2, we get 2 Prussian reinforcements. A 3 for 4, we get 1. So let's go ahead and roll and see what we get. A 2, good. So we get 2 Prussians that come in. So we just fill in these boxes, indicating that some Prussians have arrived. All right, and so at some point in time, they'll be able to attack. All right, so that's the end of turn 2, and now we can move on to turn number 3. Ugh, so now at this point, what shall we do? Well, let's see. Let's try moving some of our reserves. So we've taken some losses over on that left wing, so we're going to try to see if we can't move some reserves over there. All right, so now we go back to the French bot to see what the French bot does. And it's a 6. It is the 4th Corps makes a cavalry charge. Okay, so here they're going to make an attack with a -1. So they're going to attack the left wing, and they've got a -1 on the die roll. So the combat table is up here. So we're going to go ahead and roll. We want to roll high as the Allies. That means French are dying. If we roll low, then ouch, it means we're getting hit. So we roll a 3, -1 becomes a 2. So that's not very good. That's 1 Allied hit, and that's on the left wing. So we then mark off another hit on the left wing. So left wing's in pretty bad shape here. All right, so now what we can do is we can go ahead and we can move units from the reserve. And so we just mark them off here from the reserve, and we can then add them here. So now we're making up for some of our losses. And that's the end of turn 3. All right, now we move on to turn 4, and we've got to come up with some other thing to do. So let's go ahead and we haven't even done any damage to the French yet. This is pretty sad. Let's go ahead and try to fire our artillery again. So this is going to be, we put a number 4 there for the 4th turn. So 1, 4, 2, 3. Here we go. Let's go ahead and see what the French actions are. So we're going to go ahead and roll. We roll a 2. That is the 1st Corps. It says, if La Haye Sainte is Allied controlled, attack La Haye Sainte with a +1 die roll. Okay, so here we want to roll high again. That will do damage to the French. A 4 becomes a 5. So that's 1 French hit. So the first corps will then take a hit, and so we'll mark off a hit over here on the first corps. So there's our first loss for the French. All right, now it's time for us to do our attack. So we're going to attack the let's attack the second corps with our artillery. So 1 through 3 is a hit. Hey, we roll a 1. So we can mark off one of the corps over there. All right, and that's the end of turn number 4. So now we move on, and we got to pick something to do. So let's go ahead and try. And let's see, what's a good option? We haven't done anything left here, so let's see if we can't have the left wing defends. So that's going to be option for the 5th turn, and we just have to kind of hope that maybe they get attacked, or it says it gives us an option to attacking maybe. So let's go ahead and roll and see what the French do, and they roll a 6. That's a cavalry charge aimed at the left wing. Okay, so here we go. We defended the left wing, so there's going to be a +2 die roll on the modifier there. So when they go to do the air attack, there's a good chance they'll take losses. So a 5 +2, that's going to be 6 or more. So the French are going to take 2 losses. And so this is because it's their cavalry that's attacking. It's coming off of the 4th Corps cavalry. So they've lost almost all of their cavalry at this stage. All right, so that's it for the turn number 5. So we can mark that off. All right, we're on to turn number 6. Let's go ahead and try. Let's try getting some Prussians coming in. So this is 6. We're going to put a little 6 down there. And then we will go ahead and roll to see what the French response is. And it's a 2. That's the 1st Corps. So the 1st Corps is going to make an attack. La Haye-Saint is still occupied by the Allies. So they're going to attack La Haye-Saint with a +1 on their die roll. So let's go ahead and roll and see what they get. A 6. So that's going to be 2 French losses. So that's painful. And they did not take La Haye-Saint. So far they're starting to suffer quite a bit, which is good. All right, now we get to roll for some Prussian reinforcements. So let's go ahead and see what comes in. We rolled a 1, so that's going to be 2 more Prussians coming in. So we can go ahead and mark that. So now we've got 4 Prussians on the map. That might give us an opportunity to do some attacks. Okay, and thus ends turn number 6. All right, we're on to turn number 7. And let's see here. Let's go ahead and have the right wing do something. So we're going to mark that as turn number 7. And then now we're going to consult the chart, see what happens over here with the French. And we rolled a 5. So that's another cavalry charge, but this time it's a cavalry charge on the Allied right wing. And so we'd activated the right wing. So the cavalry, or if they're attacked, there's going to be a +2 on the die roll. So this should be good for us. We got lucky. Let's go ahead and roll on the map. A 4 +2 is going to be a 6. So that's going to be 2 losses for the French. So they're going to lose a big chunk of their cavalry here. There's not much cavalry left. All right. And so that was our activity. So there's the end of turn 7. Okay. Now it's on to turn 8. And let's see what we can do. We're doing all right. We don't need to move reserves. So I'm going to say we're going to fire the artillery again. So that's going to be 8, turn 8, our action there. So now we're going to consult the book here, see what they do. A 2, that is the first corps, is going to try to attack La Haye Sainte again with a +1 on their die roll. So let's see what they get. A 2 becomes a 3. So that's 1 French hit, 1 Allied hit. So the La Haye Sainte has been captured, or the defenders have been eliminated, I should say, and the First Corps has lost one of their units. So they've only got 2 left at this stage. Okay. So now it's time for us to take a shot. So we're going to fire over here at the Second Corps, see if we can't do a little damage to them. And so we're looking for a 1 through 3. And we get a 4, so that's nothing. All right, so that's the end of turn 8. Okay, we are on to turn 9, and I think we're going to try to bring in some more Prussian reinforcements. So now we go here, and we're going to consult the chart, see what comes up for the French. It is a 2. That's another First Corps attack. But now that La Haye Sainte is not Allied controlled, they're going to be attacking the left wing. So here then we're going to go ahead and roll and see what the results are. There's no modifiers to the dice now that La Haye Sainte has fallen. We roll a 1, so that's pretty nasty. That's 2 hits on the Allies. So that's going to be a loss here and a loss here. So there's only two things left. Ouch. All right, so now we're going to bring in some reinforcements, hopefully, for the Prussians. So we're going to roll, see what we get as far as reinforcements go. A 4, so that brings in 1 Prussian, I should say, 1 Prussian unit. So we've got those there. Okay. And so now we've got enough we can do something maybe with the Prussians in a future turn. So that's the end of turn number 9. Turn number 10, we need to move some reinforcements over. So we've got to, I think, try to bail out the left wing. It's pretty badly banged up. All right, so let's go ahead and consult and see what the French are going to do to us. We rolled a 6, a cavalry charge on the Allied left wing. All right, so that's our left wing there. And there's a -1 on the die roll. Okay, so we want them to roll high, so we save ourselves some Englishmen. Let's try to roll it here on the map. A 3, that's going to become a 2, so that's 1 hit. So we're just down to 1 unit there on the left wing. Ouch. All right, so now what we can do, our option was to bring reinforcements over, so we're going to eliminate the last of the reserve. And so we're sending the Brunswickers over here. All right. Now, that's the end of turn 10. And now we move on to turn 11. And let's see what we can do. We're going to go ahead and have the Prussians attack. See if they can't eliminate the first Corps. All right, so the French get to do their little bot-like thing. And they roll a 3, and that is the Second Corps is going to attack Hougoumont. And so they're going to attack Hougoumont. They have a +1 on their die roll modifier. So let's see what happens to them. They roll a 5, that becomes a 6. So that's 2 losses to the French. So these forward positions, Hougoumont and La Haye Sainte, are very problematic for the French to attack. All right, now it's time for the Prussians to attack. We've got 5 Prussians, so it says here we can attack the first corps with a +2 die roll modifier if we have 4 or more Prussians, which we do. So let's go ahead and roll and see what we get on the combat chart. Ooh, so that's going to be a 3. So that's going to be 1 hit for the Prussians and 1 hit for the French. So they've lost 1, and then the Prussians, we can just erase that. Whoop. Those poor guys got snuffed out. All right, that's the end of turn 11. All right, so now looking at things, what can we do? Well, we haven't done a cavalry charge, so let's go ahead and give a cavalry charge. And this is going to be turn 12. And let's go ahead and see what the French do to us. A 4. So this is going to be the Imperial Guard attacking, but Hougoumont is still Allied controlled, so we go to the tactical events chart. So here we're going to go ahead and roll and see what we get. Oops. So we have a 2, so it says confusing orders. Any Allied action this turn is canceled. Conflicting orders disrupted Allied plans. All right, well, that sounds like just the sort of thing Uxbridge and Ponsonby would do. They would get things buggered up there. All right, well, so much for turn 12. So no excitement there. And we can't do the cavalry charge again this next turn. We've got to pick something else. So let's go ahead and have the Prussians attack again. So this is turn 13. Okay, and we still, I think we'll win just because we haven't gotten eliminated yet. So Prussians are going to attack. Let's see how the French respond. It's a 2. This is the first corps attacks. So the first corps is going to attack. There's no die roll modifiers since Le Haye Saint has fallen. So we're going to go ahead and roll and see what happens with the attack. It's a 1. Ouch. So that's going to be 2 losses for the Allies. So that's the 2 reinforcements we just sent. So the left wing is in danger of disappearing here very shortly. Let's go ahead and have the Prussians make their attack now. So we can make an attack with a +2 on the die roll modifier. So here we go. That's going to be a 6. So that's going to be 2 hits on the French. That's going to eliminate the French First Corps. So they are gone. So anytime that First Corps comes up, that's not an option anymore since they don't exist anymore. So hooray, hooray. All right. Now, that was the end of turn 13. We can now move on to turn 14. And let's go ahead and try. Let's go ahead and try a cavalry charge here, shall we? So we're going to do turn 14, a cavalry charge. And let's go ahead and roll and see what the French actions are. French roll a 3. This is the second corps. So the second corps is going to attack Hougoumont again with a +1 on their die roll modifier. They roll a 1. And so with a +1, that becomes a 2. That's 1 hit on the Allies. So they finally have captured Hougoumont, or driven the Allies out, I should say. And so now at this point, if they attack the right wing, there won't be any die roll modifiers. So let's go ahead and, with our cavalry charge, we can attack either the infantry of our opponents, or we could attack the cavalry of our opponents. I'm tempted to take out the cavalry here, so that way they're not able to attack me here. Now that the first corps is dead, they're the only threat left, potentially. So I'm going to attack them in order to save the left wing. So here we go. We're going to do a a die roll, and we want to roll high. Let's see. So we rolled a 3, so that's a mixed result. 1 loss for the French, 1 loss for the Allies. So that's enough to eliminate them. And we lose 1 as well. So now we don't have to worry about the 4th Cavalry Corps attacking us. So that was good. There is the end of turn 14. Okay, moving on to turn 15. Let's see. Let's go ahead and have the right wing activated. So this is going to be turn 15, and let's go ahead and see what the French do about it. So here's their options. Number 4, Imperial Guard. So Hougoumont is no longer Allied controlled. So now the Imperial Guard is going to attack. They have a -1 on their attack. So we're going to roll and see what happens to the poor right wing. So a 4 becomes a 3. That's a mixed result. 1 hit on the French and 1 hit on the right wing. So we'll take a hit here on the right wing, and we'll eliminate a portion of the Imperial Guard. All right, moving right along now. We've got the, we get to attack. So the right wing's going to make an attack on the 2nd Corps. And so we're just going to roll and see what we get. We're once again hoping that we roll high. A 2 is not very good. That's 1 hit on us. So now we've lost 2. We're about halfway dead there. All right, and that ends turn 15. Okay, turn 16. Let's go ahead and fire. Well, let's try to do a cavalry charge. So we're going to charge the right wing, 2nd Corps, see what we can do. In the meantime, though, they get to fire back at us first. A 3, once again, that's the 2nd Corps attacking. So there's no die roll modifiers. So here we're just going to roll and see what happens. A 5. A 5 is 1 loss to the French. So they are down to just 1 increment there. Okay, and then we get to do our attack on them. So we want to roll high, or at least in the middle. A 4, and that's going to be 1 hit on the French and 1 hit on the Allies. So that eliminates the 2nd Corps, and we've eliminated then the 1st Corps and the 2nd Corps. And by the end of turn 16, we have completed the game in the space of about 25 minutes. Well, I hope that you enjoyed this video about Waterloo Solitaire from Worthington Games. It is a quick and easy game to play, and I had a lot of fun playing it. Because of the random nature of the bot, it looks like you're going to have lots of opportunities to try different things to see if you can be successful as either the French or the Allied players. And given the fact that it's got a couple of different strength levels for the bots, it can become more challenging or less challenging depending on what you want to do. So I would say check it out. It's a fun little game, and I'll have a link to the publisher if you want to follow up and see about getting a copy for yourself. If you're interested in playing a game that covers the campaign, the 100 Days campaign, I've got a video that's going to pop up over here in a little bit that talks about Napoleon 1815. It's another fun game that I played, and another quick 2-player game that you can do. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead, hit the like button and the subscribe button. And if you want to help out the channel in a material way, you can buy me a coffee, or probably more likely a decaffeinated tea. I'll accept either. There's a link below for buymeacoffee.com where you can just send me a one-off thank you, or if you want to become a regular monthly supporter, we've got a couple of different levels where you could be line infantry, the young guard, or the old guard. So check that out, and until our next episode, thanks to everybody, and be well.